Hi everyone, my name is Monika and I'm a specialist dietitian. Thanks for taking the time out to watch this video. I hope by the end of it you'll have a better idea of how nutrition can work for you. There are so many aspects of the role nutrition plays in life after cancer, so I thought I would just start by focusing on a few tips to get you started. I've been working with people who have cancer for over 10 years now, and the one thing I've learned is that nobody's the same. Everyone's had a different journey, received different treatments, and had different experiences. Some of you might have gone off food for a while and are trying to find your taste again. Some of you might have needed nutrition support during treatment, so drinking nutritional supplements to help boost your calorie and protein intake, or you might have had a tube to provide you with the nutrition you needed. Some of you may have gained weight, which could be down to a number of factors, including the treatment itself or being unable to keep as active as you would usually. And for some of you, you might be using this time to rethink your lifestyle, and that might include things like your diet, how you keep active, how much you drink, and getting enough sleep. This means that things that work for some people might not work for others, but there are a few key pieces of information that can help you build the foundations of a lifestyle that work for you. It just means that how you go about doing that will look slightly different for everyone. There are no specific foods you have to eat or avoid, and as long as you're getting all the nutrients you need, then following a diet that suits you is fine. Just try not to completely eliminate an entire food group from your diet, as you'll end up missing out on valuable nutrients. Let's start with how you might put your meals together. This can be applied to any kind of diet, so whether you have meat in your diet or you're vegan or flexitarian, there are just some main points to think about across the board. You've all probably heard someone saying at one point or another, oh, it's all about balance, or aim for a balanced diet. But what does that actually mean? Well, in very simple terms, the goal is to try and eat a variety of foods from the different food groups, which I will go through with you now. So let's start with protein. This group does contain a lot of different foods, so things like tofu, meat, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, nuts. They're all great sources of protein, and whether you eat meat or you're vegan, aim to have some protein at 2 to 3 meals a day. If you do eat red meat, so that's things like beef, pork, lamb or mutton, we recommend not having more than 350 to 500 grams of cooked red meat a week, and that works roughly out to about 3 portions a week. And then if you do eat processed meat, so that would be things like bacon, salami, pepperoni or ham, then try to limit those as much as possible. Carbohydrates are foods like bread, rice, pasta, oats, potatoes, noodles, couscous. So there's plenty to choose from. Unless you've been advised to follow a low fiber diet by your dietitian or your medical team, then try to choose the whole grain options where possible, because they're going to be much higher in fiber. And these carbs provide a lot of important nutrients, so things like your B vitamins, your energy, and your fiber. So try to have some of these at each meal during the day. Fruit and vegetables, this group has loads of foods in it, so take your pick. Think things like bananas, mangoes, mushrooms, cucumber, kale, peppers, whatever floats your boat. Getting a variety is really important, so we often talk about choosing lots of different coloured fruit and veg, because you'll then get a range of antioxidants. And yes, aiming for your 5 a day is a great place to start if you can, with a portion being about 80 grams or a handful. But if that sounds like a lot to you, then don't worry, just building up to it. So working on whatever you're having at the moment is going to be a bonus, and taking your time to get to your 5 a day is no problem at all, if that's a bit easier for you. Also remember that a lot of meals will have hidden vegetables in them. So for example, chopped onions in a dish will still contribute to your 5 a day, so you might actually be getting more than you realise, which is great as well. Next up are dairy and alternatives. So this will be things like milk, yogurt and cheese and their alternatives, so something like soya milk. If you are choosing a milk or yogurt alternative, then just try to pick one that's been fortified with calcium to make sure that you're not then missing out on that essential nutrient. And try to have some foods from this food group every day. Ideally, try to eat regularly throughout the day, although I know that for some people that's going to be easier said than done. But the reason for that is having regular meals can just help avoid those peaks and troughs in your blood sugar levels, and that can be really helpful in balancing your energy levels during the day. It does also mean that you're less likely to overeat at your next meal when you get there if you're not completely starving because you have actually managed to have something during the day. If you're finding that you're hungry in between meals and need a snack, then go ahead. Some good options are fruit or veg sticks and a dip, so like hummus. And that can be especially helpful for people who are trying to regain weight after their cancer treatment. So I know some favourites are things like nuts, or nut butter on toast, or berries with full fat yogurt. So just go for, whatever you fancy at the time. Something I wanted to emphasize is that eating well doesn't need to be expensive. Using tinned or frozen fruit and veg is just as good as using fresh, and it can be easier to store too, with there being much less chance of it going off. Likewise with beans and lentils, they're packed with nutrients like protein and fibre. They're not expensive, and they can be added to dishes to add bulk, and it makes them tastier as well. So definitely don't shy away from stocking up those in your store cupboard. And then if you can, cook in bulk. That can be really helpful. So freezing dishes into smaller portions means that they're ready prepared on days when you're perhaps feeling more tired or just haven't had the time to cook. If you found that your cancer treatment has put you off certain foods, and that could be because you relate a food to a particular experience or something just doesn't taste the same like as it used to, then just pick something else from that food group that does work for you. The nice thing about each group is that there's lots of choice, so there's no need to have something you don't enjoy eating. There's also no such thing as a superfood. So again, don't worry about including specific foods if it doesn't work for you. Really, the key is to have things that you enjoy eating so it doesn't feel like a chore. I'd say that's really important. I know that the advice on nutrition can sometimes be a little overwhelming, but I hope by watching this, you've realised that it doesn't have to be. You'll already be doing a lot of right things, so remind yourself of that if you are feeling a little overwhelmed. Sometimes it can help to pick just one aspect of your diet that's important to you and just focus on that and stick with that rather than trying to make lots of changes all in one go. And remember that it takes time to make changes and create new habits, and it's completely normal to stray away from your intention. So just recognize that as part of the process of making change, and just take it one step at a time. Any dietitian will tell you that it's really important to enjoy your food. What you eat is so much more than just nutrition. It plays an important role in social occasions, events, and celebrations, and we wouldn't want anyone to miss out on any of those. And if you do find that after cancer and following on from your treatment, you're experiencing some longer term effects that are having an impact on what you can eat, then please speak with your team about a referral to a dietitian. They'll then be able to go through your symptoms more carefully and suggest a tailored plan for you going forward. But those are sort of my main tips for now. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found that helpful.